I'm going to keep this very short today. As I said before, I'm not going to go over 10 minutes, so this vlog will be cut very short. Now, I apologize if you're watching. If you're not, then hey, you know, no worries, right? Yeah, so I tried to keep this vlog very short. I tried to upload my video from yesterday to IGTV. For whatever reason, it's not taking it. So I'm going to keep trying for maybe the next 2-3 days maybe, and see if I can transition to not only putting this vlog on YouTube, but on IGTV as well. And if I can't do it, then hey, you know, it is what it is. I'll just get back to the whole YouTube thing and don't worry about that. But figured I'd give it a shot, so I'm gonna keep this vlog very short, and I'm not trying to go for storyline or anything like that. You guys take it easy and watch the hazardous materials training, I guess. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Big Rig Bull, Texas truck accident lawyer Reshard Alexander, here today for episode 33, I believe. Maybe 32. I've lost count at this point. But today we're going to talk about Texas commercial vehicle enforcement as it relates to hazardous materials. Now, I've already made a vlog episode about hazardous materials, but I feel it is essential to go over the commercial vehicle enforcement areas for Texas, even if they overlap with federal law, just to reinforce those. So first, what we want to start with is, what is a hazardous material? Well, it's defined by the Secretary of Transportation, and it is pretty much any substance that poses an unreasonable risk to the health and safety of property. Simple enough. We've already covered that before. You probably remember that. Now, the thing about it is this. So, common knowledge is we're gonna assume that dynamite, an explosive, gas, an explosive, you know, would be a hazardous material. However, would you consider nail polish and adhesives or cleaning compounds hazardous materials? Because they are. So we see that there are a plethora of things that can be listed as a hazardous material, not just the common things that we would usually think of. Okay? There are civil penalties that arise when you do not abide by the Part 386 as it relates to how hazardous materials are supposed to be transported. Not only are there civil penalties, but there are criminal penalties as well that can lead up to 5 years in jail. Now, over here, if you've seen, I believe this is on your left-hand side, I create a list of the different types of hazardous materials listed in the HMRs. And for the most part, I'm just going to quickly go down this list for you. There are explosives, flammable gas, non-flammable gas, poison gas, flammable and combustible liquids, flammable solids, spontaneously combustible, dangerous when wet, oxidizers, organic peroxide, poison liquid or solids, infectious substances, radioactive, corrosive, miscellaneous, and consumer commodities, or ORM-D. Now, I'm hoping that you can see this list, but if you can't see this list, I put an asterisk by the ones that say you can pretty much not smoke or carry a lighted cigarette, cigar, or pipe within 25 feet of these substances. They are explosives, flammable gas, flammable and combustible liquids, flammable solids, spontaneously combustible, oxidizers, organic and organic peroxides. All right. There are other rules when it relates to the transportation of these hazardous materials, and this is not a all-inclusive list of what you need to abide by when you're dealing with hazardous materials, FYI. So, transporting hazardous materials here in interstate trucking for Texas. Well, you must comply with the HMR 49 CFR 100 to 180, all right? This is going to detail registration, it's going to detail training, it's going to detail shipping papers, labels, placards, and packages. But as I said before, There's more to it than this. There are financial obligations that you must meet, and a host of a number of other things. So, like I said, it's not all inclusive. One of the major points when it comes to hazardous materials, other than just driving down the road, is parking. Okay, a commercial motor vehicle that falls within a Division 1.1 to 1.3, which is commonly known as the explosive hazardous materials, must be attended at all times by its driver or a qualified company representative unless it's parked at the motor carrier's property, the shipper's property, or property of the consignee. Right? Very important to understand that those types of materials cannot be left alone at all. Right? When it comes to hazardous material training, you may want to reference 49 CFR 380, 390 through 397, and 177.816. Hazardous material training will cover and should cover for your motor carrier or owner-operator the pre-trip inspection, the use of vehicle controls and equipment, operation of the vehicle, procedures for maneuvering tunnels, bridges, and railroad crossings, very important, attendance requirements that we just talked about before, parking requirements, smoking requirements, loading and unloading procedures, compatibility and segregation requirements, specialized requirements for cargo tanks, because there are some, emergency response information and procedures. All right? The other thing about hazardous materials training is the frequency and record keeping. And that can be found, the law for that is 172.704. The thing about record keeping is that it must be kept, any training materials must be kept on file for 3 years. All right? When it comes to your recurrent training or how often you're supposed to have training, it's supposed to happen every 3 years. And all this is supposed to be documented and kept by the company. The only other thing I want to cover very briefly is that there are certain carriers who are required to register with the PHMSA. Like if you are transporting radioactive materials, you're supposed to register with the PHMSA. This is the Big Rig Bull, Texas truck accident lawyer, Reshard Alexander, signing out and hoping that you have a wonderful and safe weekend and a wet or dry Friday, depending on how you like it. Big Rig Bull, and I'm out.